Can't get the CPA audit completed by the Form 5500 due date? Here are your options. David McKenzie, Practice Leader of Retirement Plans here at Province Group, part of Province Wealth Management Group. Today we're going to talk about what to do if you can't get the CPA audit completed by the filing deadline for the Form 5500. The Department of Labor's electronic system will actually allow the filing of a Form 5500 without the accountant's report attached, but the DOL will consider the filing as incomplete and subject it to further review or rejection, as well as penalties. In addition, you still need to answer Schedule H, Part 3, Line 3 of the 5500 correctly by listing the name of the auditor and their EIN. Moreover, many record keepers will want you to attach a PDF that discloses you are working on the audit and will provide it as soon as it is available. The important thing is to get that Form 5500 filed by the deadline. The goal is to eliminate or at least reduce any penalties for an incomplete filing. Now, if you submit the Form 5500 without the accountant's opinion, the usual process involves the Department of Labor at some point sending a formal rejection letter about the incomplete filing and then giving the plan sponsor 45 days to resubmit that filing correctly. If the plan sponsor does not return the corrected filing within this time period, the DOL will issue a notice of intent to assess a penalty. If you receive a rejection letter and you don't respond, the penalty letter will probably look something like this. As you can imagine, you are in a difficult situation because at this point, you can't file for correction under any compliance program, and your only hope is to draft a reasonable cause letter pleading with the DOL to reduce any penalties. Personally, I've experienced several situations where the plan sponsor has not filed the Form 5500 with the accountant's opinion attached. In some cases, we attempt to get the audit completed very quickly after the deadline and then simply amend the original filing to include the now completed audit report. Our goal is to get the amended 5500 filing to the Department of Labor before we receive a notice from them. In other cases, the plan sponsor has not even prepared the 5500, let alone completed the audit report. In those situations, we may have the plan sponsor file for correction under the Department of Labor's Delinquent Filer Voluntary Compliance Program. Yes, the company has to pay a submission fee, but it is much less than the civil penalties the DOL would assess for not filing at all. And keep in mind, we have only discussed the penalties the Department of Labor could impose. The IRS has their own set of substantial penalties they can enforce as well. However, one saving grace of using the Delinquent Filer Voluntary Compliance Program is that the IRS will usually honor a DFVC submission and decline to impose any additional penalties on top of the submission fee already paid to the DOL. Please reach out to me with any questions, and we will talk again.